The more and more I see of these Smile Devil Fruit users, the more I realize that Oda wants to make it very clear how imperfect these devil fruits really are. I mean, when you see this mouse man, and you could just see his design, how messed up he looks, or you see Hold'em and how his, smile, devil fruit is with the lion, or you see Gazelle Man, you can really see how these devil fruits are like an abomination. They're nowhere near what the devil fruits we have seen since the start of the series. You can see a clear, distinct difference between the two. But there is something I do want to point out that many might have forgotten. It really shows that the devil fruit that Momo uses, that is a smile-made devil fruit, is clearly strong. Like, it's insanely strong. And it's definitely a different breed of smile devil fruit compared to what, all the other devil fruit these individuals have eaten. Because Momo, he's not like an imperfect devil fruit user. He legit looks like a pure 100% zone devil fruit user that can transform into a dragon. While you have these others that obviously have ate these devil fruit that's zone type, they just have these animal characteristics that pop up that just look very imperfect and not like a proper devil fruit that we have seen throughout the series. So, very interesting stuff. I just would like to have pointed that out. But anyways, this chapter, there's something we come to find out when it comes to Zoro. Zoro is a man that can cut pretty much anything, but there is a very small list of things that he can't cut or will not cut, and we come to find out one other little thing has been added to that list. Zoro will not cut naked or half-naked men, which I feel like, in terms of translation, there probably is more meaning to it than just naked men. I believe that the reason why Zoro did not attack those that charged him and stole Kiku is probably because they were unarmed. See, Zoro, he's an honorable warrior. He is someone that's a swordsman that is honorable. We've seen this time and time again, and I highly doubt he would attack someone that is unarmed and attack someone that is unclothed as well. So, I think what it really came down to is not just the fact that they were like half-naked men or whatever, it was also the fact that they didn't have any weapons to defend themselves, and so Zoro, because of his code, his honor, and all that, I didn't think he really wanted to attack them. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong there, but that's what it looks like to me. Now, speaking of Kiku, she had a very, very good moment at the end of the chapter. I'm very pleased to see that she is not like a damsel in distress needing to be saved. She actually took care of herself and, cleared up the situation like that, prompto. There was literally no delay. We didn't have to wait until next week to see, Urashima get defeated by Kiku. It was just instant, and we got that, so that personally makes me very happy that Oda didn't leave us on a cliffhanger like that. He left us on an epic cliffhanger that makes us assume that Luffy is about to say the famous words, because let's look at what he said at the end. He said, "That is so cool," and you see his face light up like he's very happy. We've seen this face before. This is a face, when Luffy makes something like that, or like he says something like that, and his facial expression is like that, usually he's about to say the words we all know. Will you join my crew? Now, personally, I'm all down for Kiku joining the crew, the Straw Hat crew, because we do need a strong, upfront, physical female fighter. I mean, we have Nami, we have Robin, and obviously they have proven that they are a lot stronger than they were in the past. Nami is no longer defenseless like she was in the past. She actually can hold her own and do her own fights. I mean, let's look at Whole Cake Island. Regardless of however you feel about Nami, you have to admit Nami was a very important piece in that arc. She helped out tremendously, especially with Zeus and how now Zeus is with Nami. Nami has a lot of strength. She is definitely a strong fighter. Robin's Devil Fruit is just straight broken. It's very strong, and it's probably one of the big reasons why we don't see a lot of matches or fights with Robin, is because how strong her Devil Fruit really is. But regardless, I've always wanted an up-close, physical, personal female fighter in the Straw Hat crew, and that's why many were jumping on board with Carrot, because, number one, it's something different. We need someone from a different, tribe, or like the Mink tribe to join. That'd be very cool. It'd be similar to Roger's crew, and, Carrot fit into the description of an up-close fighter. That's what we need for the crew, a female up-close fighter. But now seeing Kiku, And seeing Luffy's reaction, I have a feeling he might say those words, that will you join my crew, because of how cool she was when she cut the man's top knot off. Now, like I said, I could be wrong there, but it would be nice to see some form of strong female character join the crew. Personally, I prefer Carrot, but if, Kiku is asked to join, I wonder if she will. The question is, if that does happen, like if it is asked, that question is asked, what would make her different from Zoro? See, Zoro, he wants to be the #1 swordsman, and he's a bona fide, swordsman. Besides vice captain, he is a swordsman. And she's a samurai, but it's still pretty much, might as well say, she is someone that uses a sword. Brook is an exception because he is a musician. He is someone that's completely different. Even though he uses a sword, he plays music. So, if Kiku was to somehow, let's say, join the Straw Hats, I don't know how she would be much different than Zoro. She would have to be something very unique or different to really make her stand out and not be like a carbon copy or a female Zoro. So, we'll see where Oda wants to take that, but I could be wrong there. Just the facial expression that, Luffy is given kind of looks like what he would say when, you told Brook, hey, join my crew and all that. That's what it looks like to me. Hold'em was introduced. We finally got his full appearance, and I'm a little bit shocked. I'm very shocked on Hold'em's, design. I mean, once again, as I already commented earlier in this video, Hold'em's design is clear as day that Oda wants to prove that the Smile Devil Fruits are an abomination. I expected Hold'em to have, some really cool and epic looking, Devil Fruit in design because of the lion, silhouette we saw a couple chapters back. But now, seeing in this chapter, he just has a lion on his gut and he has this weird design and all that. I'm like, it's typical Oda. That's what Oda would do, and I have no problem with that. But I was hoping that Hold'em might have some form of great design, but clearly that is not the case. Which I do like his gag though. I do like the little character flaw that he has, which is to where the lion and him are constantly bickering, and then the lion will attack him, hit him in the nuts, which in turn causes them to both be in pain. It's pretty funny. I know it's kind of in some ways childish humor, but it's hilarious, and I do wonder if the reason why Hold'em wants Tama to tame animals, or the ability to tame animals, is because he wants to tame the lion that is a part of him, which that brings up a whole new separate question, okay? So, Hold'em has a lion devil fruit. From what was established, okay, the Smile Devil Fruit is, zone type. That's what was established. But for a lion to legit form out of this man's stomach, it makes me wonder what makes this devil fruit different, or does this have the potential possibility of happening to anyone that consumes a Smile Devil Fruit? That's a big question right now, because honestly, seeing how he has a lion head attached, and he's supposed to be a zone devil fruit user, that's weird. That's really, really weird. That definitely changes up what we could expect from these Smile users that have zone-type devil fruit, because for all we know, someone could legit have a second head on their shoulders that's kind of like a Cerberus or something that could attack someone. That would be very interesting if Oda wants to go down that path, and the reason why his devil fruit is a little bit different, and why it looks different, might be a precursor to things to come. Now, let's talk about the class system. So, Urashima, the sumo wrestler that was, introduced a couple chapters back, but then, we get to see more of him in this chapter, we get to find out that there is a class system. Which makes sense. In ancient Japan, there was classes and, ranks and stuff of how royalty was done, and obviously the Wano Kingdom, or this Wano arc, is kind of like a big gigantic love letter to Japan, an old Japanese tradition. It's very apparent from how Oda is writing this arc, and I feel like that entire scene with Urashima was just a reference to that, how certain class systems are done, of how samurai or certain individuals a part of royalty are way above the common folk, and they're pretty much, low-class scum that don't even deserve to be in the same presence. Their lives are forfeit if the higher-ups want to get rid of them. And so that was kind of showcasing how the power system is done in the Wano country. And I find that really cool how Oda kind of expanded on that while giving us, some old ancient classic, Japanese tradition with sumo wrestling, seeing this, Yokozuna, how he was the top and how he's incredibly strong. Which, by the way, I want to point out that even though Urashima seems like a pushover, and in reality, he probably isn't that strong for our characters like Zoro and Luffy, I, however, do like the fact that the man was slightly built up in this chapter. Oda wanted to prove that he was definitely not weak by any means. Don't judge the man by his appearance, which, if there's one thing we have learned from One Piece out through the journey of One Piece, is that you never underestimate a person on their appearance. That is the #1 rule. You never do that, because usually the characters that look freaky or weird or just don't look that strong typically turn out to be strong, unless Oda intentionally makes the characters just look crazy cool. But even then, though, they typically are very strong too if he really goes that far to make them cool. Katakuri is a good example. Katakuri looked amazing because he was like the main baddie or antagonist of the last arc. So yeah, besides that, usually characters that look very dumb or stupid or whatever, they might be very strong, and you might not want to underestimate them because they usually are incredibly powerful from what we've seen from One Piece. But okay, let's talk about Kiku for a second. So I like the little scene to where Kiku tries to hide behind Zoro, but because of how freakishly tall she is, she wasn't able to hide, and it was just very funny how she just got grabbed and kidnapped, but then, you know, she attacked the man back. But I thought that was very funny. I feel like that's gonna be, like, once again, another reoccurring joke with her, maybe, is that Kiku probably is someone that's very aware of her height, like how tall she is, and she might try to hide behind things, but in reality, she can't hide. Kind of similar to how Chopper is. You know how Chopper, when he tries to hide, you know, he's outside of, you know, cover and all that. Maybe she's similar, but she can't really hide because, you know, she's too tall. Which, once again, we don't really even know if Kiku is a girl or not. Once again, I talked about that in the last chapter review, that Kiku could potentially be a dude for all we know. A trap, or could be related to the fiend that was set up at the beginning of the series with Zoro and, you know, his childhood friend. Well, I have no idea, but that is still left up in the air about Kiku, but it's very clear she's a strong swordswoman and able to fight back pretty well, especially for what she did to Urashima, and he wasn't really able to do much at all. I mean, I'm very curious to see. I'm very curious to see exactly how powerful she is, or he is, and if she's going to be very vital for this upcoming arc, which most likely she is. If we go along the lines of what we've seen from the previous arcs of One Piece, then usually the characters that were first introduced, like the, you know, original, like, new characters that are introduced for the arc, typically are the most important, and since Tama was introduced very early, and then now Kiku is introduced, I'm assuming they're going to be, like, the two critical characters of this arc that are going to be with our cast, and they're probably going to determine what's potentially going to happen at the end of the arc. They're going to have some really important fights. Tama, I doubt she's going to get into a fight, but you know what I mean when it comes to Kiku. And Tama's probably going to be very relevant because of her abilities, which that makes me question a lot. Apparently Tama is very useful. She has the passive ability of taming any creature that consumes the little dumpling that she makes, or the mochi or whatever, off of her, which is very weird. It makes me wonder what that could be like for the future, how relevant that ability will be, because if she's able to tame animals, does that mean that she's able to tame Zone Devil Fruit? Because that's what I was talking about when it came to Hold'em. See, with the lion that's attached to Hold'em, I wonder if he wants to eat that or force the lion to eat that to tame the lion. Because if that is the case, then I wonder, I really, really wonder if maybe her ability is like a good counter to Zone Devil Fruit users, for all we know. It's a very interesting thought. But that's pretty much about it now that I think about what happened else in the chapter. I guess, you know, Luffy, he was still munching down on the snack he got, which I believe it's because he really can't get over Katakuri from the last arc. He's still snacking on that mochi. But that's about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, you know, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.